state. But we're also concerned about replacing those trees with new ones. So it's really important that we get a handle on this early. And I don't know what I would say we're early, because we've been working on this for about 10 years on the county. And it started small, and the more we get to looking around and covering those lands, the more we're finding. Look at my notes here. I guess why are we concerned? You mentioned forest health, productivity, and diversity. Many of you probably hunt on county lands too. If we get a monoculture of garlic mustard, buckthorn, it's not good for wildlife. Also, the negative impacts to our loggers and the logging industry in the county. Forestry is the #1 job provider in the county. And those loggers, our mills, we need that raw material all times of the year. And because of some of the seasonal restrictions we have put on our timber sales, perhaps some of your private sales, those bring in less dollars. The summer work is more desirable. Those guys got to have something to do in the summer too. And generally, regeneration is better if you have some sort of service for regeneration. That can work negatively too with invasives. Soil service can really expedite the growth of garlic mustard, buckthorn. So, also, with having a large land base, we have a large rec program. ATV trails, 100 miles, 551 miles of snowmobile trail, horse trails, sled dog trails, you name it, we got a trail for you. That's a lot of people congregate in these areas, different equipment, people come from all over the state, potentially introducing that to our trails, which also function as our logging roads. So what we're concerned is that it gets on these roads and trails right away. It's there where we can manage it, you can see it, we're making efforts to control it. But it gets carried into the woods, and then it's a whole other ballgame, unfortunately. So much more labor intensive, and then it's competing directly with our forest resources. So, I mentioned negative impacts of recreational wildlife. I'll kind of get into what we're doing as a county forestry department to control it. I can tell you in the last 5 years how much time and effort and money we put into this. It's just exploded. The more we look, the more we find it. And you question, well, how long are you going to throw good money after bad, right? Throw your hands up and say, it's here. Myself and the rest of our staff have a lot of conversations about this, and we think it's early enough to where we can make a difference yet. We don't want to give up because we know what's going to happen if we give up. If we don't do anything, it'll be a matter of years. We're hoping to put this off as long as we can. So. We spend a lot of time inventory, mapping, control, whether it be chemically spraying, trails, roads, in the woods. A lot of planning as far as timber sales. What we're putting out for timber sales, we have a plan. Okay, can we do this in summer, winter? Within those sales, what can be done first, last? It's a lot of coordination going on, just trying to slow this up. I mentioned with seasonally restricting sales, very negative impact to logging in the forestry industry. So it's something we don't like to do, but for the resource, sometimes we don't have a choice. So what are we doing on our timber sales? We encourage at our recreational sites clean equipment. When harvesters come on county property, we expect to make sure they're clean. Can't get every speck of mud off, but we do the best we can. We'll have the DNR help us out a lot. We spray the equipment before they get on sale, or certainly if we know there's invasive on county sale before they leave. We don't want to get spread anywhere else either. So we ask the DNR helps us out with spraying equipment off. Signage at trailheads, just get people aware, kind of like tonight. A lot of people didn't know this is a big deal, but it's getting more and more of a big deal. So we want to really educate and have people come on the county and have clean equipment and enjoy their time here. So, we've started hiring interns to help with control. Had 2 interns from Stevens Point this year, help us out, covered a lot of ground. So I'm very encouraged that we're going to continue that program. Cost effective, good experience for forestry students, and then we get some cost effective help, so it's going to be really good. So where are we going from here? I guess we're taking it year by year. Every year we're going somewhere else in the spring and say, wow, did you know what was here? And so then you kind of reevaluate what's the priority. So it's a continual monitoring process. We map everything digitally on our GIS website and try to control efforts. We've also had to seasonally restrict, or I should say restrict, motorized access to some roads where we know it is bad. Like Wes had stated earlier, those muddy roads, big potholes, just a breeding ground for carrying that stuff and depositing it in where it is. So unfortunately, we do have to restrict some of those, try to get a handle on what's going on those roads. So I guess that's kind of all I have in a nutshell.
I don't know if it was mentioned yet, but another control method you guys are using, what we use is we know that there's a pocket of stuff out there, we're doing a timber sale. It's the last thing we do. We cut everything else around it, we'll save that area for last. And if you guys can get to the point where you can recognize some of this stuff, if you're having a timber sale, you can point it out to the logger and say, I don't think it's anywhere else on the property. We can do the rest of it to save this area for last. That way we know that you need to clean off before you go out of this area or whatever. And that can help reduce the spread of it as well.
Thanks, Eric. We're lucky to have Eric. He's done a very good job. So what we're trying to tell you, early detection, spread the word. We're going to keep hearing that. What we'd like to do now is we'd like to go into some question and answer. We don't want to carry this all night, but we want to open it up to some question and answers, and we're going to try to answer it as best we can. We'll have a quick raffle afterwards, and we'll all free to join and see ladies afterwards. So, any questions? One more thing.
Only real quick thing. Right now, you might still be able to get a handle, not handle, but notice a few of these things, especially buckthorn. Fall, most of the natural, or I guess native species around the area have already lost their leaves. But a lot of these invasive species will leaf out before natives and also keep their leaves longer than native species. So if you go on your look right now, and you see something with green leaves, maybe go take a quicker, closer look at it. It's pretty good indicator that it got close to this time of year.
Yeah, we were out on a state property today and we saw some buckthorn. It sticks out really well against the white smoke. Very green then.
I'm on County Forest Land in the Parachute TV area. The roads, the logging roads that I normally drove into in park are now gated. Does that mean there's a problem in that area?
Yeah. I mean, it's still, like I said, we're restricting motorized access because we don't want that spread farther. In that parish area, we feel like we got a pretty good handle on it in spots. I found it there this time this year, or last year, that's fall might have been. But, just because there's a sign on the gate up doesn't mean the forest is closed. You're just walking, or a bicycle or whatever.
Yeah, I was told that if the ground freezes, you don't spread the cracks. Is that true?
Unfortunately, that's not true. We've seen that. If the ground's frozen and you disturb that soil, I mean, I don't know how many places we've seen that where it's winter only, even logging, and you come back and where that soil was disturbed, there's no plants there.
Yeah, if there's good soil, that helps.
Garlic mustard seed stalks are still sticking up right now and will continue to be up above the snow throughout the winter, and they still hold seeds, so you can pick it up without disturbing the soil as well.
If memory serves right, a lot of these species their seeds will remain viable in the soil for 5 to 7 years. They can hang around for a while.
No?
I haven't had enough experience with it. Can that timing of spray application be made so that I don't and then leaves be gone and I still get enough
We've done fall spraying on the county and state lands, because most humidity plants have gone dormant.
Yeah, that's an advantage to them dropping their leaves first. They've gone dormant, those green ones are still actively producing, and they will still try to draw nutrients back into the stems. So if you spray them while they're green, they'll draw that back into the root system.
And depending on the treatment type, you can actually treat buckthorn all winter as well. So, you know, nothing's going to be active in the middle of winter, and you can still be out spraying buckthorn.
You know, that's a good question, is if you've got a project that you're starting up, you can always call and verify timing and things like that.
Another question in the back?
Yeah, I'm not interested, well, yeah, I'm interested in the forest, but I also have this problem. I've been fighting garlic mustard in my garden, my flower garden, for probably 10 years. I get out there in the spring and I pull, and pretty soon I got more coming up. If I spray now, while they're green, is the rest of my planting safe? Generally?
Have they gone dormant yet? Are they pretty much brown?
They have to spring. I've got garlic mustard in the middle of my house. I told it until I'm blue in the face.
I would think generally if the other plants are brown and dormant, it would be, okay, I would use I wouldn't use anything that would stick in the soil, but just a regular Roundup herbicide should be okay generally.
Yeah, as long as you're using, I guess a foliar spray and you're not using the pre-emergent, which would stay in your soil, so when they come up next spring, nothing.
You know, because we have to think about it in town, because if I'm in my garden and then I go out in the woods, I couldn't partner up to you guys, so.
One good thing for you, maybe it'll take a while, but you know it's there, but pulling those second-year plants with seed stocks, eliminating.
I've been trying to pull first-year plants.
Yeah, as long as you're getting rid of the second years, at least it won't be spreading. It's still that seed bank that we just talked about, 5 to 7 year viable seeds,
Right.
that you're still experiencing. So hopefully one day it'll.
I get the woods quite often, and I see a lot of the roads are closed, town roads, county roads, state land, and I understand why, with this problem we're having with the garlic mustard and the other weeds and everything. And I got quite a few miles of snowmobile trail going across our property. Do I have to be concerned about, I mean, I see why the state and county and everybody's closing the roads to keep people from spreading it there. Now, do I have to be concerned on my own property so keeping snowmobiles up? I mean, I've heard other people saying, geez, we should just shut the trails down. I don't want to do that, but I guess I'm looking for an answer.
I mean, we would encourage all property owners to know what's going on their property. I know we've worked with TIP to get the grant program to help assist snowmobile, landowners associated with snowmobile trail program to help identify and how to control that. If you want to talk to myself or Mitch after, certainly point you in the right direction there. So, but education is one thing that, you know, as an engaged landowner of all sorts, we encourage. So.
What did you suggest? I have a forage that is infested with garlic mustard. And snowmobile club came to me this week, and they want to move the trail and come through the part that's infested. Now, what do I tell them? I know it's bad there.
Yeah.
And they have, you know, the trail's been shut down on the other end, and they want to go out through the field and then double back through mine and get up to the trail again. What do I tell them? I know it's infested, and I told them, and they didn't seem to bother them. Let's go ahead and drag it up.
No, I mean, you can do pull efforts prior to that, pull it, make sure there's no second, you want second.
We've been pulling and spraying for 4 years.
Okay.
And I told them that, and I told them if they spread it, the club is gonna come and help pull. My suggestion. I don't want to say, no, you can't use the trail, but I want them to know it's in there. But they are, if they drag it out. So I want to know what your suggestion is that I tell them.
Wait till, some of this activity, wait until the ground's frozen and snow covered. If before we start doing.
Well, they're not gonna do that. They wanna go through there right now and brush the trail out and,
So if it's already infested, they want to go through there and do that, that's fine, just make sure they're clean when they're gone, you know, and just monitor that area. I don't, if it's already there, you know, that's kind of, it's not gonna make it necessarily worse by them being there.
but they're gonna drag it.
What do we do?
So we could drag it into the next landowners.
Right, yep.
So I don't wanna be hard ass and say, no, you can't go through. But are they gonna be responsible if they're gonna drag to the neighborhood? So that's what I wanna know. What do you tell these people?
Work with the clubs, and soon they come in and, you know, we try to work with them, educate them what it is.
I asked them to come to this meeting and they said, I ain't going to that.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'm the chairman of the Forestry and Rec Committee for Langley County, and I just want to say Eric has been fantastic about keeping this oversight committee informed of what is going on. So when the roads get posted out there in the county forest, we'll let Eric take all the heat and blame, but very seriously, we have given him authority to do what's best for the county forest. Like Eric said, $1 million+ is coming in to the taxpayers of Langley County from our logging. Hopefully, we get good bids and all that. Also, listening to other presentations, where garlic mustard has been involved down some part of the state. If I heard correctly, something like 40% of the new growth does not take place, and that would affect our hardwoods quite drastically. The other thing I wanted to mention, I'm also from the town of Rowley, and we're stealing from the town of Hupple. They donated some money to the Lumberjack organization through the Land Conservation Organization here in Langley County. And so I think the town of Rowley is looking at the same thing. That means Lumberjack can come in on town roads, not private property, not state roads, but on town roads, and begin to attack a wild parsnip. And we are getting hit from the county from the west, because I think they have just simply said, too bad. And so we have that really exploding. But you might want to talk to your town board and see if they'd be interested in contacting Chris Arrowwood, Land Conservation, to see if they could get involved with Lumberjack. You need some money promised, and you need a plan, from what I've been told. Yes, sir.
Lumberjack is Timberland Invasive Partnerships fiscal sponsor.
Okay.
So I'm the one doing the.
Yes, right. I've been talking to Chris.
Make that connection.
David?
Yeah, the gentleman's concern about snowmobiles, that will definitely be addressed at our council meeting this Monday night. The importance of the invasives on the trail. We're kind of on a two-edged sword. The state tells us we got to have our trails brushed. Now we're running into this issue here, and we're going to have to adjust somewhat to take care of that. But that will be strongly addressed this Monday night to all the clubs. And I didn't like to hear that from the snowmobile club he talked to that they didn't have to come here. I would have liked to see a rep from every club here to listen to this presentation.
I'm glad you're here, Dave. Thanks for representing.
Yes. My name is Sally Mulholland. I am the president of the Antigo ATV Club. I'm also the vice president of the White Lake ATV Club. And one thing I'd like the landowners to understand, I don't know what all clubs do, but our club is educating our riders. And I love these programs because we get these brochures to teach our club members that when they go out and they see these, they report them. And I have reported, and our club have reported, a great deal of these on the trails to combat what's going on. And just keep in mind, yes, we do have to be diligent with our riding, But it isn't the only main thing that causes this. There's other things too, like birds and animals and wind and all this stuff, which is always going to be. But to help with the situation, we are trying to pass other clubs information to do the same thing with their club by educating their riders. And we have what we call a trail boss. They go out and check the trails regularly to see if trees down, any bad spots that could hurt people. And they too are being educated by reporting it to us so we can report it to the DNR and the Forest Service. So that's what we're trying to do now, to educate our riders, our trail bosses, those that take care of the trails, to help combat this.
Thanks, Sally. You can always get more brochures from the DNR, okay?
I've got some, thank you.
But if anyone wants brochures, you just want a handful, you can come get them. If you want 200, you can come get them. So, you stop by over there, contact us, you won't get them.
Mike?
I think for those of our landowners here, I think it's important to realize that we have invasives here. I hate to see the whole county shut down in recreation and things, snowmobile trails, ATV trails. I think it's education. The worst thing to do is just clam down and say, no snowmobile trails on my property, no ATV trails in the county forest, no horses. I mean, we still need to recreate here, that's why we live here, I think. I think the thing is to think about control and watch what's going on. I'd like to see the DNR funded more, drop off the funding for the plans, the forestry plans, the funding, number one priority should be invasive statewide. Because right now, as Andy mentioned, there's no funding till the end of the year, till next year, almost 12 months from now for the local gap funding, that funding for control. So basically, you're on your own for a whole year, and then get live. So I think we need to change some priorities. I'd like to see us still do recreation and do some diligence. Maybe not have the snowmobile trail clubs go out there this time of year and spread the stuff, wait till snowfalls a little bit, but it's a risk. We all live in a risk. So how do you balance the risk with recreation and fun? I think it's kind of a catch-22. But one more thing, as that one guy mentioned, go out this week on your land, right now, tomorrow. Look around. If you see a green plant like that, it's going to be buckthorn. It's the only thing right now that's got leaves on it that's really green all around the county. So if you want to look at your land for buckthorn, go out the next couple days and you'll see it plain as day. So that's about it.
Mike, they did float the idea that they're gonna try to move more with the grant funding and into actual practice funding.
Good.
I haven't heard a date when that might happen, but they've been heavily discussing that.
That might be something to recommend to DNR.
But I do encourage anybody that's interested in applying or learning how to apply, contact us and discuss more of the options with them.
So if I go on this week and I identify buckthorn and stuff, should I lack it and stump treat it now, or should I just flag it and wait till we get across and experience? Should it be best to wait?
The seeds will already been in the soil to begin with, so you're not.
Are you managing to creating a pile and burn it, or?
That's what I did last year. Relocated pile and burned it.
Just flag it and leave it lay there, the birds will still be there. Get out of it.
Treat the stump.
And also maybe if you, food farm's got that little orange pink flagging, hang a flag where you cut the stump so then you can find it next year, watch for any stump sprouts or any seed that fell near that plant, so you can check that area for new growth. That'll be a lot easier to control.
Another tip, you said, you've got
Here are number of products, Garland, Holden Core. We can get some products, Remedy, I believe is another one, Pathfinder, somewhere. If you don't have a lot, you can buy containers that are ready to use. You don't have to mix it, you can just treat the stuff. Your cheaper route is more outlay up front, but when you buy the stuff, the gallon jug or that kind of thing, you can mix it to whatever you want. You can do the foliar, you can do the stuff, you can do the vehicles, whatever it is you want out of that.
There's a list in the back as well with all the information on the mix and the
Going into the dormant season here, with buckthorn, really should be using the chemical as an oil formulation, like the Garland 4 or Pathfinder. Pathfinders are ready to use, you can pour that right out of the jug and use it. And that's an oil-based formulation that will kill all through the winter.
Another tip, if they are going dormant right now, and it's just in a shotgun pattern throughout your woods, where you can flake it, is leave the stump a little high, and if they did go dormant or whatever reason your chemical didn't work when it got cold, you have a stump to cut down a little lower and treat next spring when you're out in the woods.
I use glyphosate. Is that okay? On the slopes? And I've done it in the fall and, locked it off and then just went and treated it and then I'd always keep an eye on it. And it seems like it's worked well.
Yeah, an appropriate concentration is an acceptable method. Sometimes as you get later into the winter, in late fall, winter, it becomes less effective in that water-based formulation. So that's when you want to switch over to the oil-based chemicals.
In the back?
What's a good ratio of Roundup for this time of year on garlic mustard?
Sure.
That gets expensive.
3%. of the concentrate, I'm sorry, not Roundup, 3% of the concentrate to water.
Would that be the same for buckthorn?
With buckthorn, you want to spray a little higher concentration, you get up to 4 to 5%. And it's starting to get a little bit too late with the frost getting into the ground to be spraying garlic mustard or the buckthorn foliar right now.
Did not bother them? Or
Well, if you're doing a foliar spray, that's not the correct application to be doing this time of year now. If you want to spray it, you need to do something like cut stump or basic bark treatment on buckthorn. If you're going to deal with garlic mustard, it's better now to wait until spring.
The smaller plants on buckthorn that you can pull, you can be doing that right now.
There's another tool, multiple names, I think it's a lead wrench, basically a big lever bar. There's multiple different sizes. My mom purchased one, she's 62 years old, and she was out there for a weekend here and there, a couple hours every day to eradicate buckthorn activity. So it's time consuming, yes, but not chemical, chainsaw, worry about that. And she was going off things up to 3 inches. And my bigger ones, my smaller ones, depends on what the basically grabs on, pull wire, pull the whole entire root system.
They have a heck of a root system, just so you know. Mark? Say that again, Mark? You should treat that stump within an hour after you cut it, but as Cody said, it's getting late in the year, so, the idea on the bigger, correct me if I'm wrong.
You can stump treat right now with the oil-based formulation. It is best if you can treat, quickly after cutting it.
It's my intention to talk to the county and see if there's anything that we can do. Because all it takes is that one step, and you pour them out and produce some berries and all that.
But I know he was working on this with county
One last question, Dave.
Yes, if the seeds from garlic mustard or buckthorn are transported during the winter when there's snow cover, will they germinate in the spring at a new location? or wherever?
Potentially.
Go the following year.
Well, right, will they germinate though? Transported during the snow?
Good place to check that out is along this leg,
Okay, one last thing, we're gonna do a quick wrap up. Again, I wanna thank you all very much for coming. We'll be around for a little while after you get more questions. But it's gonna be a long battle, it's not gonna be quick. We'll try to identify and try to treat it as done this year.
There was, I think there's gonna be a key on it.